What's up, YouTube? This is to any of the true Epstein victims. And the reason why I say that is because most of their victims disappeared. Okay, they're not buying all that acid, they're not eating all that beef jerky or so called pizza. I don't even want to know what they mean. I already understand they mean something very horrible, and that's all I need to know. um, just like the Virginia girl, like the everything that went down with her, even before she supposedly died. Well, the reason why I say supposedly is because even her parents, which was a red fucking flag, a huge red flag, especially with hearing all this stuff, even though we already knew it. We even thought John Bonet's parents sold her to somebody, and that's what happened when that stuff was going on. And we were right. That's exactly what they did. So, Eyes Wide Shut is exactly what they do. It's not just a movie, they're laughing in your face. That's how they do it. Yeah, they'll put it in a movie like that, and they'll sit back and while they're, you know, thinking about people watching it or, you know, and thinking that it's not real, it's just a movie, that's what they're laughing about because they know they're doing it. These people are that sick. Yes, they are. If you think about it, that's exactly what a demonic demon would do, right? Yeah, wonder why. But anyway, um, we got to analyze this because that girl, Virginia, supposedly was from the United States but was in Australia. What are you doing in Australia? That doesn't make sense. Wouldn't you be somewhere safe? How the fuck is Australia safe? They have these people all over the world. I just don't get it. I mean, wouldn't you have come to some of the people that are, you know, trying to, get these people known and have them come together and protect you? I mean, why would you be walking around anywhere in the outback where you could get hit by a bus or anybody could do anything to you? I mean, that doesn't make sense, does it? And then supposedly she survived that in the hospital and ended up committing suicide shortly after. Get the fuck out of here. She didn't commit no damn suicide. And then her parents tried to say, yeah, she was suicidal. No, she probably was voicing that. Some people voice that stuff to get it out of their head. And yes, going through all that torture and trauma and nobody listening, can't get any justice, yeah, you would most likely feel that way. But I guarantee you she didn't because I bet you she thought about what happens when you go to a coroner and all that. They still end up with you. Yes, they do. Especially if they're doing the cremations. Because there's nothing showing that that's your family or the person that they say it is. There's nothing to show that. There's been a lot of crematories doing that. There was one dude giving out ashes of animals instead of human remains. Okay, I mean, come on. If God ain't showing you all how they're getting around with this stuff by all these little things going on with the coroners and funeral homes and all this, come on, man. This is what I meant by an inexperienced child could put this together, probably faster than we could, and that's saying something. And it's because nobody wants to believe it. We ain't got time for that. Y'all got to understand. We have wasted decades already being deceived by these people. Decades. No one, and if they're They're taking 500,000 children a year from the U.S. Um, Imagine that for decades. Is that depopulation? Yeah. Is that attacking God's children? Yeah. We were told all this stuff came from there. All our holidays, even Santa Claus, comes from what they're saying these people worship. Yeah, that used to be townspeople taking their newborn, firstborn to that man, and this kind of stuff taking place. That's what supposedly kept the evil out of their house. Why do you think the world was flooded? Because of stuff like that. Look at Sodom and Gomorrah. They made clothes that were so tight and so see through, that way it would be provocative when they go out. Boy, what does that sound like? Look at the. See, this is another thing people don't pay attention to. We already had people that were gay, people that were, bisexual. We didn't see them going after kids and, trying to teach 2 year olds this stuff, and kids in school getting 3 days of, gay teaching, or kids being taken to freaking strip clubs with, you know, drag queens, or the nasty naked parties up and down the street where kids are watching people bathe in tubs of pee and what the fuck? None of that was a part of them, liking the same sex or liking both. Okay. And we accepted it because most of the time, if they hit on us, we said, no, we ain't that way. We ended up either friends or at an understanding, and that was it. You know? Now, it's like they want you to die. They feel your whole family should rot in hell. I mean, what the hell? Not all of them, but a lot of them. Not only that, they got mad because we wouldn't let them mess with children. We got mad, or they got mad because we wouldn't accept the fact that they were trying to make us believe their fantasy versus reality, aka delusion. Now people are trying to, you know, over dramatize it. Any kid that's not athletic, yep, they're gonna hurt somebody. What? You see how this black community is trying to push this stuff even further than into the, fantasy versus reality shit. They're trying to elaborate on it and move the line. Yeah, I heard a dude say that. There's plenty of kids that are not athletic and they don't want to hurt anybody. And you're trying to paint a fucking target on them. If anybody's trying to hurt anybody, it's you with that statement. No, I know there's a lot of people in the black community that don't think like that. But the ones that think like what this one did, that's a problem. There are also people of color that are not very athletic. Okay? Some of them don't get into sports. You gonna paint a target on them too? I know you were what you were leaning towards, even though you didn't say that. But this is how they bait people, because what that he meant. What are most of them been? White, right? It's just like them trying to say we don't season food or this, that, and the other. That's not true. I don't. I just right. It's just a way to rage bait. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm gonna say something about it because it's bullshit. Just because a child is not athletic and doesn't get into Roman extension sports Doesn't mean anything. You're just saying that because you ain't been in sports. Yeah, right. I was in sports and I was very good. And I don't know what a lot of you are talking about. A lot of you have been in sports and you never made it pro, so guess you weren't that good either. What is it? You have to be a pro now, or you're not considered decent at a certain thing? Get the hell out of here. Whether they have semi-pro and uh, stuff like that for? Because you're good. It's just nobody's seen your talent yet. Not only that, there's some people that want to play the sport but don't want all that bull crap that comes along with it. I mean, come on, man. You guys, that's what I mean. You try and move the line. You're either this or you're not. You're either that or you're not. Shut up. I forgot that you all don't decide that. You can't make those lines. I know you're trying to, and people are following it. That doesn't mean shit. You don't just get to draw an imaginary line and be like, "Yep, that's facts." No, facts are facts. Reality is reality. Stop getting away from it before we can't even realize what fantasy and reality is, and it's already getting that way with this freaking AI crap. It's getting to the point where you can't tell the difference between an AI video and a real video. And I know we think we're making fun of AI by pointing out all the, stuff that makes it. All we're doing is helping them critique their product. That's all we're doing. So, I mean, yeah, man. That's another reason why I know they put out social media right after putting in the Patriot Acts. If you notice, they always try and put out some type of law that protects what they're about to do. And then they're like, "Oh, it's law, so we get to do it." No, I don't want to hear it. They don't put in the laws that we want. They put in the laws that they want. Every once in a while, or for a certain percentage of the laws they put in, they'll act like they're listening to you. But it still goes the way they want it. Just like the Boston Tea Party, we did all that for what? Just to be taxed even more. Looks like we were manipulated into accepting exactly what they wanted. So that whole fight was for nothing. We just destroyed a whole bunch of tea and shit for nothing. And what'd we do? Cheer and celebrate it? Yeah, we got manipulated. Fucking stupid. We'll give you two government representatives to make, you know, to give us an argument that we don't have to accept or change. But sure, even though these people are from us and they're just going to cower whenever we want them to. So guess what? You're getting taxed. And what happened? We got taxed. And these people sit in a chair, don't even go to the office most of the time, and still get paid high numbers. Even when they retire, they still get their whole freaking salary. What? No wonder we're being drained. Why are these people getting paid so much money? They made enough money to live the rest of their life comfortable, which they shouldn't have been. This is why they get away with murder. I'm still waiting for them to bring out our tax information of them spending it on their DUIs and uh, paying for uh, lawsuits from hookers and everything else to go away. Then paying for parties like that with streetwalkers and strippers and yeah, they use their money for all that. They would use our money for jets to go on vacation, use our money for vacation. Yeah, these mofos were just living the life off of us. Now, I already know where the 36 trillion missing from the Pentagon went, and it's funny. That's how much we're in debt. Well, pretty much all of it. It's went up since then, but still, looks like we're going in debt about $1 trillion a year because we were close to 37 when what's his name came in, and by the end of the year, we were about a little over $1 trillion in debt for that year. But I don't see how we still have money and we're still operating if we're that far in debt. What is it, a mirage? Anybody else that's far in debt, man, they're homeless on the street with a sign saying, "We'll work for food." Not our government. No wonder they got to shut the government down because they don't have money. No wonder. You motherfuckers are taking it. And that's how they do it. They put it into stimulus checks and, oh, we're helping you out, or they create a problem to where the government has to put out stimulus checks, and then the people get it, and then what do? They go out and they buy all the stuff they need, which goes right back to big business and the banks. Yeah. And the banks get it a couple different times because once it hits your bank, they get some from it. And then once you spend it and it goes through your hands into big businesses' banks, they get it again. It's like they set up this banking system to where they're just constantly getting paid. War is set up to where they're constantly getting paid and getting, you know, doors opened in other countries that they can do whatever they want. It's insane. There should have always been a cap on how much somebody can make. I mean, enough to, last you and your family and to build futures for yourselves. And then after that, dude, no. I mean, these guys are so bored with spending money. They're going into crazy, crazy areas, man. I ain't gonna say it's all because they're just bored and they can buy anything. I think they're evil at heart. I really think this is one of the reasons why they tried to get into the rich circles and get rich themselves so they could hide what they wanted to do. I don't know if that's true for all of them. I'm sure it's true for some of them. What I'm really disappointed in is our legal system, which I kind of figured it was going to do that. Yeah, our court systems and law enforcement and all that aren't what everybody thinks they are, and they're showing you they're not what you think they are, because there ain't nobody moving on this. Nobody. They're just arguing back and forth. Haven't you noticed every time it comes down to these elites and the government, all they do is put on a show in Congress and on the news, and then after that, nothing happens. Yeah, remember when Clinton was being taken in front of Congress? What happened? They put on a show, and that was it. What about Zuckerberg? Put on a show. He paid millions, even though he made billions. So it's like making hundreds of dollars and you happen to pay out pennies. I mean, really? They had to force him to turn around and apologize to all the people. That's all he has to do is apologize? Dude, if we did anything like that, we'd be in jail. These people, his platform calls people to lose their life, calls families to be ripped apart, and he's admitting to it. Even paid people for it and had to supposedly apologize. We would have got thrown in jail right then and there. But this motherfucker, all he's got to do is pay a little bit of money and turn around and be like, "I'm sorry," and do it worse, even worse than what it was before. What the? I mean, I can't believe the public accepted that, and they were like, "Well, at least that's something." I'm over here like, what? Did you listen to what these people did because of him? And he keep his platform up. Supposedly, he was sued by civil suits, which, pretty fucking funny, because I've been trying to put civil suits in and can't do it. I've been trying to get a hold of body cams and, all this stuff. And these people are getting it left and right without lawyers and all this shit, like right after something happens. And I'm over here fighting. Shit, that's 7 years I'm still fighting. This is bullshit. I mean, crazy, crazy, crazy. That's what I mean by everything going on. It seems like those four angels have been released. Yeah, they can be attached to a lot of people all at once. It doesn't have to just be one person. And I think that's what they do. I think that's what they did when they were released. They went to the north, the south, the east, and the west. That way they would cover the world with their corruption. And look, that's exactly what it looks like. 7 vials. We have how many sicknesses going around, right? Y'all better strap in, man. I don't, dude, they must have, they have to have something that's telling them, the right time to do stuff like this. Because if they would have done this back in the 80s or 90s openly like they are now, oh boy, you think you see the world freaking revolting now. Uh-huh. They wouldn't have stood a chance. I think that's why they did this. They slowly tried to condition everybody to where they could slowly start coming out. Hmm. I think LBGQ, like I said, was a way that they manipulated people to try and, basically as like a type of shield to hide their sick shit. And those people are sick too. It's almost like the further you go behind them, the sicker it gets. Like it seems like there's hidden secret levels to what they do or what they, like doing. Yeah. Ugh. It's all perverted. It's all satanic. And everybody's just like, what? And when we said no, look how they acted. They started shooting people. They started saying we need to die. And we're just like, nah, we don't think that should be allowed. And you should be on a list. And then, oh, you should die. What? Then once we started saying it back, and well, that's the way you feel. Maybe you should go meet God. And then, oh well, that's against our civil rights. Well, what the fuck did you just say to me? Civil rights are for people that are citizens of this country and that are going to be civil. You're trying to flirt with that line and make us believe that this is civil, and it's not civil. And every person with a good mind on them knows that. You want to be a girl, okay, but then don't get mad at people when they misgender you. That's your problem, not theirs. That's something you want to pretend. That's not them. Stop messing with children Anybody that's under the age of 18 that is doing that, they need to be put in a mental home and evaluated. And yes, we already know who these people are, and they should. You want to categorize people? Well, there you go. That's what you should be doing. And of course not. They're going to use it to categorize the good people, so they can try and either turn them or get rid of them. Maybe that's why a lot of good people have gone. I don't know, man. It seems like with Saddam Hussein, Bin Laden, and the Gaddafi guy, the guy they took here recently, it seems like they're pulling the Vlad the Impaler move, trying to act like they are the good one and taking the good one out, but painting him as the villain before they do. That way everybody agrees with it. It's like, whoa, fuckers. Well, he was against gays and all that, which, sorry, I do have friends that, but that's not right, and they know I don't agree that that's right. I don't get on them or use it against them, but they do know. But anyway, he didn't agree with that. He didn't agree with the LBGQ. He didn't agree with the abortions. He didn't agree with central banking. Imagine that. That's all the things that these people want everywhere. And then all of a sudden, he needs to be got. Yeah, I bet you he does before he does something where they put it on camera and make you look like you're a liar. And then what did they do? Took his oil. Really? So all that was just to shut up a good dude and take their oil? Huh. And you all know we have an infinite amount of oil that Elon built bunkers over top of, right? Y'all know that, right? Yeah, think about that for a second. If you were in that position, what could you do? Especially if the world goes to shit and there is no type of, you know, order anymore. Your SpaceX bunkers that you got paid for through the US, which makes the money yours because it is, possession, 9/10 of the law. So you got paid to do something for them, then you got them to put your name on it so you can run it. It's hundreds of billions of dollars for one bunker, let alone the tunnels and the other departments that you put under the ground. It wasn't just bunkers that you built. And that would explain why people are feeling rattles under the ground. That would explain some of the noises they've been hearing that were strange. Yeah, it's that machine running that they built. How much did that thing cost? Yep, taxpayer paid for that too, and the people to build it. See, we don't know if they're just giving us a materials cost. That is that material and labor. That thing right there was what? A couple $1 billion? And we don't even know if that's really what it costs. They could have jacked up the material price just so they can get more for labor. I'm just saying. There's a lot of things you got to watch with that going on, and nobody's paying attention. That explains a black secret project that the Pentagon paid for. And what do we have missing from the Pentagon? 36 trillion towards supposed black or secret projects. The only reason why that one came out is because a plane hit one in a mountain in Virginia and showed that it had one in there. Nobody paid attention to the crazy airport that they built that removed like 10 times more dirt and earth than any other airport ever built. And people thought just because it had a long runway that, oh, well, maybe that's why. No, that wouldn't make up for 10 times. Maybe a little bit over normal. But 10 times the amount of dirt, and they're talking about for the foundation. So that means that thing is deep. What do you need a deep foundation like that for? Uh, no, nobody's really looked at the underground military map, which just so happens to line up with all the freaking national parks. And you can enter this underground tunnel system through the airports and other places. Yeah, they showed all that. The missing 411 showed that. And imagine that. We have people missing. They have never been found. And we found out that these people like abducting people and eating them, as well as other things. Uh, and there's an underground tunnel system under where these people went. Yeah. Okay. Well, how come some of them were found in weird places? Maybe, I don't know, to confuse people. Maybe that was God intervening and protecting that one. I don't know. But there's a lot more that went missing and they never found out what happened to them. And a lot of people think just because they found a body or whatnot and it went to the coroners that, hey, man, at least they didn't get them. No, they still got them. They're going to get them from that corner, I'm telling you. Now, they might not get them all, but they get a lot. I mean, I don't know what else to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I mean by you got to connect these dots. And it's so eerily familiar and eerily lining up perfectly. So, I don't know. Men's hearts will fail them for what they see coming upon the earth. And look what's happening. Let me say that again. Men's, as in mankind's, hearts will fail them for what they see coming upon the earth. See ya.